We're taking it a different direction because it's the young, we're going to keep this in the 70s.
Get dressed. You're coming with us.
Please, whatever's happened. Since I'm from Poland, I want to ask you about Piotr Adamczyk and what he...
Love him.
Yes, elaborate.
I can't speak enough about how much I love that man and the work he did on our show, but even just as a human being. You know, when he came to show On For All Mankind, the role wasn't a big role, but the more we saw what he was doing with this character, the more we wanted to write to that character. And then, you know, it wasn't our intention to tell the story of him starting out on Star City, but, you know, his character became so beloved, not only by us, but by fans of the show, that it felt like a real opportunity with Star City to show how that character started out. So yeah, he's really one of our favorite actors we've worked with.
And I was just talking with Joseph Davies, who plays the younger version of him, and what's great is he was also such a huge fan of For All Mankind and of Piotr's performance, and so, you know, he took it incredibly seriously, trying to capture the essence of that man as a younger person. I think he does it beautifully.
Yeah, he studied his facial expressions. Is it fair to assume Piotr is going to be back on Star City at some point?
I think in this version, we're taking it a different direction because it's the young, we're going to keep this in the 70s probably, so I think we're going to keep it with Joseph Davies, but the spirit of Piotr and what he did is definitely a part of our show.
So it's not going to be...
Flash forwards? No, I don't think we're going to. I think the idea with the show is to separate it, to make it, to stay in the period, the time period.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For how long?
We'll see.
How extensive are your plans?
I mean, you know, we don't, in TV, we take every moment as a blessing. So right now we have this season and we hope to get more. But I think if we do get more, it'll stay in the 1970s.
How do you feel about telling this story from the Russian perspective, given what's happening in the world, in the region right now?
You know, we take it incredibly seriously, I think, because, you know, it's a reminder, I think. The show feels more relevant than ever, I think, because it's acting as a reminder of what the world used to be like in that region and reminding everyone how easy it could be to slip back into that. And so I think what we really focused on was the humanity of the people living in that authoritarian regime and how they struggled against that and overcame it in many ways and resisted it through acts of science and through acts of bravery and going into space and kind of discovering their own voice.
I take this step for my country, for my...
What made you interested in the role of the chief designer? I mean, in For All Mankind, I like to say there are no villains. And it's sort of like that in this one too. And that's sort of different because I usually watch this from the American perspective, right?
I think the villain in our show is the state. You know, in many ways, that's the entity that makes everyone's life impossible. Even those working for it or against it is in many ways the enemy of humanity, for sure.
We don't like to write good guys or bad guys, as you say, or villains. I think, especially with this show, we want to approach it even in the worst of systems. Human beings are still human beings, still trying to overcome the state and the pressure they're under. And that's something it was important to us to capture with this show.
I think that's part of the especially the story of Irina Morozova, who you meet in For All Mankind as an older, you know, she's risen up the ladder and is now sort of the head of the security service in Star City. But in this show, you meet her as a younger woman, and she is a completely different person. And telling the story of how someone like that is made over time was something that we felt captured this idea of how somebody who isn't, you know, no one is born as an evil person. You're made that way. And so I think that was part of the concept of that.